How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books. It's found on the battlefield. All right, so this is us with our coaches on Monday, May 1st. And Christy Little, I appreciate you starting us off. And so we're talking about the boxes that we've noticed like our women have been trying to fit into because of societal norms versus authenticity. And what are some observations that we see versus the struggles that, like, Christy is overcoming a lot of these. And I'd like to hear your opinion on these societal boxes versus like authenticity. All right, go ahead.
Okay. There's two things to it. One is the external seeking of validation. So what I used to, I'll use myself as an example. What I used to do was seek externally to show me what I should be. And I say should with quotes. What is the ideal girlfriend? What's the ideal wife? What's the ideal, just all in all woman? Like, what are we supposed to be doing? So I look at media, magazines, commercials, those kind of examples, and everybody else around me who I deemed better. So it was all about comparison. And it was all about, do I match or can I meet these expectations? And so it was a constant seeking of validation based on what I was looking at outside of me. So I did not ask myself what made me feel good. I did not ask myself what felt, forget authentic. I didn't even have that word in my vocabulary. What made me happy? What made me happy was being validated. And so it was achievement-based, it was look-based, it was status-based, and that was all of the examples that externally I was looking at were basing those standards on. Another part of it is a family and friend dynamic. So it came, the validation I asked from people that I knew and also people that I did not know. So the people that I did know, it was seeking that love from family, from friends, from coworkers. And it was the same validation scale that I used. Am I successful enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? Am I a good enough daughter? Am I a good enough friend? And all of it was outside. And so I based those examples as to what boxes I wanted to try to fit into. And it was exhausting. It was a perpetual seeking of a feeling that never really came.
I think it's pretty powerful how much the word validation, which has been tossed around so carelessly, it almost seems like the need for acceptance and the need to meet expectations based on comparisons from other people's opinions. What is a perfect wife or a perfect girlfriend or a leader, or what's the perfect body, a perfect boss babe or ideal woman? And then, do I meet your expectations? And I need you to tell me that I'm doing a good job. Validate what I'm doing. I need it to be validated. I need to do this. Do I have the look? Do I have the status? Do I have the achievement? I need your opinion. Please validate me with your opinion.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm doing good enough.
Yep.
Am I enough? Please, I need validation. Am I good enough? It is exhausting. I can see why this is exhausting, seeking external validation. That's pretty tiring because it's based on comparisons, like you said, with social media and magazines and media and movies and music, you name it. Am I that? Now with like Instagrams and Photoshop, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing for this comparison game? You think everybody's doing a great job? Also, what's considered correct? I noticed a big increase in women who are becoming far more muscular, like muscular, like there's a big increase in that. I don't have anything against that at all. I think it's cool, but it's interesting that women are going so much further into like actual like having a manly look. It's interesting that it's going that direction. Now, as far as this external validation or whatever that may be, what do you think that that is?
Strength, an image of strength.
All right, so now women are actually going to be physically stronger. Now, I don't have anything against that, truthfully. I think it's awesome. But I wonder what's happening to guys. And when you're watching, what are the images that guys seem to be leaning more towards? What's happening?
It's going the other way.
It's going the other way. Now, guys are embracing this femininity, their soft, compassionate side. Women are leaning more into being more muscular, stronger, and taking care of themselves on their own things. And guys are leaning the other direction, becoming more feminine or effeminized. It's still, I think, in this same curse. What are you trying to be to get an external validation that you're good enough? And what are you trying to change yourself into to measure up to somebody else's opinion? Now, this is probably where it becomes even more dangerous. When you were young, whose validation did you seek the most? How big was the range?
Parents, right?
Siblings, parents, siblings, grandparents, depending upon how far your family structure went.
Friends, coaches,
Yeah.
judges? Yeah, you had judges. Christy, you would perform, so you had judges.
Yeah, my dance teachers and the judges for sure.
Yeah.
Because that meant I
Coach.
wasn't enough.
Court judges count too, right? Got to perform for court.
What do you mean?
Kind of. You know, when you get a kid, you get pulled in for whatever the hell, breaking chairs or something stupid, and then you go find talk to the local judge, and like, yay! All right, I'm a good kid. I'm terribly sorry.
I don't think many people are legally talking to the judges as children, Philip. Dr.
Listen,
Phil.
a couple times. I know all misdemeanors, all exposed. We're fine.
You're
We're fine.
silly.
Very
All right,
expensive
all right.
lessons.
He had actual judges apparently. Okay, so so as far as this goes, the validation for the circles that we would reach out was, probably not too much bigger than our own small community though. It could be friends or school, or it would be like, dance teams or, the parents or, authorities in the area. That's about as far as it went for validation, right? How far can people reach now for validation?
Global.
We're global now. We're global. We can reach the entire planet. How much more comparison is there versus like your dance crew or your kids at school or the people at work? How much farther now is the comparison?
It's astronomically greater than when I grew up.
Yeah, it went from like maybe a few hundred people to a few billion people.
Yeah.
Especially with the social media platforms, and you put one picture up on Facebook, and like Christy said, the world can see it, especially if you don't have your privacy shit set up. And even if you do, one friend can copy paste that motherfucker and send that thing through the freaking, the ringer.
Yeah. And so now we're on a global scale. Now we're able to go international. You put an Instagram photo up, and now you can have people from all over the world see you. This leads to a different type of addiction. It's a different addiction there. Before, people would do anything they could to get acceptance and approval, and it was through your local circles. These are your local people. And now I need more approval. Now, go ahead and take this comparison thing that you were talking about. I'm comparing myself. It used to be off of magazines or a music video or a movie. Well, now it's the top people in the globe, and they can post as many things as they want. And how are you ever supposed to be this? Now, put that into all these categories: a good mom, a good wife, a good leader, having a good body. What is success? Are you a boss babe? Put all these different ideal women, all of these different ideals, these different boxes. And how are you supposed to do it all? This is the Rubik's Cube. This is this guy. And they're like, I'm perfect. I'm the best. I'm awesome. but in reality, their entire cube is not solved, just one side. I'm physically fit, but I'm addicted to attention. I don't feel like I'm good enough, and the reason why I'm doing so good job, Phil, you solved yours. But the reason that I'm as good as you think I am is because I'm holding this up to your face.
Yep.
But my real cube isn't solved. I just have one side done, and people are like, wow, if only I was like them. If only I had the attention that they had. And so it used to be if you got 100 people's attention, that was a big deal. If you got 1,000 people's, wow. Now it gets into the millions. Do you have 1 million people who noticed you? How many millions of people? And you may think you're doing good. I got 10 million people who noticed me. And you're like, yeah, but so-and-so had 60 million. Oh, maybe I'm not that great then.
Or the negative feedback in the comments. Then you're even more fucked from reading those, because some of them can be rude too.
Oh yeah, I wanted the approval.
I saw an interesting TikTok the other day, and it broke people down into 3 separate lives. They have a public life, private life, and a secret life. Now, the public life is the mask, so it's the life that people show, and that's what we're comparing ourselves against. We're comparing ourselves against the public life that they show, all, like Rick said, all pretty, all solved. We've got all the green squares. And you got your private life, where the people closest to us, the ones within our connections, can actually see the things that we want them to see and know the true us. And then if I tie that in with the shame resilience part from Brené Brown, the only way that we can actually break these down is to authentically connect with people. For people to be like, hey, I've been through what you've been through, and it's hard. Or maybe I haven't been through what you've been through, but I can see that you're doing the best you can. I see that you are trying. I see that you are trying to be better. And all of these comparisons, at the end of the day, they're just bullshit. We're just comparing ourselves against absolute fucking bullshit.
Yeah, we're comparing ourselves against the masks. How come my real life isn't as good as their mask is? I know this for a fact. I've been working with enough people. I've worked with millionaires. I've worked with billionaires. I've worked with coaches now. I've worked with people who are leaders. I worked with some people outside of here. And as amazing as they are in certain categories, even working with therapists, counselors, I've worked with them and even getting into their stuff. The people who have it all together don't have it all together. And so we're going off of the status, the titles, the achievements, the looks. We're going off of the masks. Now let's go back to the ladies, Christy. How is it that you're supposed to have acceptance and validation when we're comparing ourselves to the ideals of make-believe, of the fake?
That's why it's so empty. Yeah. That's why it's so empty feeling. You're always that way. You're always chasing something.
Yeah. You know what's even more interesting about masks, especially in the women's world, is there's trends.
Yeah.
What's hot now may not be hot later. Andrea pointed things out too with these things where she said women do certain augmentations because that's the trend, and then that trend passes. So there's one like doing the outline of your lips with a tattooing the outline of your lips. It was really big in the 90s. And then that one went and that look disappeared. And she's in the makeup industry. So she's like, it's a dead look now, but you went permanent on that one. Right now, thick is in. Big is beautiful. Like even to the point where impossible curves. Like huge boobs. Tiny, tiny, tiny waist, like impossibly tiny waist, gigantic ass. And that's in. But these standards are like crazy rare. It's extremely disproportionate for like just regular human body. And so if there is a person or people out there who have that look or have those shapes, well, now the world is seeing this impossible standard and wondering, why am I not that? That's such a unique, rare thing. And then who knows, next it may go back to being real small again. Maybe that comes back. I don't know. But the thing is all trends. What was out was now in. It used to be being really small was it. And then it got to being thick is in. And then who knows what's next, you know? The trends change. And so if as soon as you get it, this is why I say I bring it up, is because let's say as soon as you nail it, my mask now is validated. I changed myself to be that. I did it and I got it. But now the trend has changed. I got the big lips. I got the Botox. I got the implants. I got the change. I got the reduction, or I got the boost. And then it goes to the next thing. And now that you've got all these big is beautiful, and then it goes back to small is back in again. And now you don't measure up.
Did that turn into a, so let's just say you get into, you know, the big lip thing while it's first starts, and then you're in, got them, boom, you know, vacuum clean it till your fucking lips done, you know. Does that change, like, so you put that mask on basically, now is that like a permanent you for, I mean, obviously like with the injections it comes and goes, but I mean, is that like a permanent identity change for them? So it's until the social aspect of it changes and it's skinny lips.
Well, I think it's not about.
Is that how they see it?
I don't know if that's how they see it. You think each person is different. What I do know is that numerically, people who have plastic surgery for certain reasons, like a majority, it's not survival. It's not like breast implants after cancer. You know, that's got different numbers to it. But the people who I need to change myself because I'm not good enough, the suicide rate is very high for women who get augmentation because they don't like how they look. You know, so somebody, for example, they had breast cancer and they had their breasts removed, and then they got fake implants. The suicide rate's substantially lower, like way, way lower, because that was for a need, not out of a dislike for themselves. But when you have to change your face and change your body and change your look to be something totally different, and they call it enhancement, again, denial curse. It's enhancement. No, you're changing you because you looked in the mirror enough and said, I hate you. You are not beautiful. You could be, though, if I change you. If I got a different nose, then I'd be beautiful. If I had different eyes, I'd be beautiful. If I had a different shaped jawline, I'd be beautiful. If I had bigger boobs, I'd be beautiful. Like, we'd be better. I'd be beautiful if. Now, the curse of beauty, the burden of beauty falls far more on women than it does men. Not to say it doesn't, it's not absolute, but it does fall far more on the female side for burden of beauty. And let's face it, guys, just be real. Women are more beautiful than us. They are. No question. You know, the difference is you can look at a guy and go, it's a handsome dude, but a beautiful woman can stop traffic. There ain't no guy hot enough that stops traffic, I'll tell you that, but there's beautiful women that can do that. And so that trend will come and go. So the burden of beauty, it falls on women, but it's fucking powerful. Us guys have all done dumb stuff because of beauty. You know, so
and we see that.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely gets implanted for sure.
Mm-hmm. Reinforced. More validation. You get more validation if you get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see the girl who has ridiculous augmentation. Size double G or some shit titties. They're like this big. And that girl, all the guys are looking. Now, add in your comparison to a man's brain. So if some chick whose boobs are this big, they're humongous, this is obviously astronomical, is walking by and all the guys are like, what the what? Female, first thought. What's your first thought, Christy?
I just typed and our own, whatever we're self-conscious about. So I literally in my early 20s was like this close to getting a boob job because I was self-conscious about it. So yeah, if a woman walked by and they were like beyond perfect because she got them done and I saw men looking, I'm like, see?
Yeah. Now this is important, and I'm glad that you said that. You're right. You added your self-conscious thought
Mm-hmm.
to men's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, dress, most of us would be, gee, this big, this is crazy. This is cartoon big. This is like, this doesn't even make sense big. Most guys would probably be like, what the fuck? Not like, I need to fuck. It's the very different. Girls are mistranslating this whole thing. They're like, that is bananas. That is a circus attraction. That doesn't even make sense to us. And most guys wouldn't look at somebody who's like got an augmentation to be like 4 times bigger than their head and be like, hell yeah. We'd be like, why did you do that to you? I think it'd be no different than if some guy got like a 4-foot wiener. We'd still look at that too, and would be just right there. Your face is like, that's ridiculous. 4 feet long. This is this big. Like this is it's bigger than an elephant's. And somehow, like, we would go, what the hell? No girl would be like, I'm in on that. Well, maybe there's some weird people out there, but most would be like, no. But that would be like guys going, should I get a 4-foot wiener too? She's looking at that. Maybe I should do that. Dress. It's obviously, these are extremes. And such extremes are generally not acceptable. But if you add in your self-conscious opinion, add in an insecurity, all of a sudden now you should, like, well, if you looked at that, you must like that. And if you like that, then I must have to change myself to be that. Even though the reality is, guys would be like, I don't know what the hell that is. Woof. Dude, did you just see that shit? What the hell? And you're already looking up doctors.
Right. And even if you just sit there and you add in like a few celebrities, like real big name celebrities that do that exact same thing, and then have everybody else going, ooh and ah, and yeah, that looks awesome, amazing. That's where the trends go fucking. And now you're watching, every 5th, 6th girl that has G boobs walking down the road. It's crazy because of the
interesting
platform.
Trend. And now here she is with like all these new issues, back issues, all kinds of problems. There's not really going to be a place where she could be like socially normalized. And so her whole entire thing to be able to be fitting this ideal box, this ideal wife, girlfriend, leader, boss babe, ideal body, ideal whatever. Well, now, where do you fit in? Where is your place now? Where is your place? Because regular society spots have now gotten too niche, and it's going to make you the oddball inside that ideal box. And so as you grow and you no longer are the girl seeking attention, you become the woman who takes care of somebody. Well, now you're falling into a very different place. So then where do you belong? Where's the acceptance and where's the validation? Because what you were when you were young, trying to get all these implants and augmentation and changing yourself and lose weight, gain weight, get thick, get thin, all these things that you kept trying to change yourself to be. Where do you fit in? Because it seems like those groups that you're trying to fit into are temporary. Like fashion, they change. So how are you supposed to do this, Christy? How are you supposed to do this? I'm seeking external validation. I need acceptance. I need to be approved of. How the hell is anyone with all of this social boxes and all of these things, how are they supposed to do it? What do you got?
We could be here a long time, but I'll start with the first steps of it. And I'll use me for an example. I had to come to a very humbling place. I really did. I really had to get humble on how far from even understanding who I was at the time. And I had to take a look at all of the different situations, kind of like what we just discussed, all of the areas of my life that I had either let one person or like an entity, like, media, dictate how I behaved and how I felt about myself. And I had to get humble that just wasn't the way I wanted to live anymore. And that I had allowed myself to be yo-yoed based on other people. And I then had to learn why I didn't like myself enough to follow what felt good to me. Because before that, that was not a gauge. It wasn't what felt good to me. It was what was cool, was hot, was successful, whatever, all of those standards to fit in. And I realized I didn't need to fit in as long as I felt good inside. Again, this is like, that's pretty as basic as I can get. I'd be here for hours. That was the first step, getting really fucking humble.
I got time for the second step.
Okay. Well, then it was kind of getting away from that a little bit. Why did I do that? Why did I have no love for myself and sought it from everything else? And then that opened a can of worms, because then that went back to as far back as I could remember in different stages of validating that I wasn't enough to start to chip away at.
I like step 2. I'll take a step 3, please.
Sure. Well, then it was when I could see why those beliefs got put on me of not feeling worthy or enough or cool or all of those things, learning to how to work through them. What am I accepting? What am I letting go of? Almost like all of that for me was letting it go, was realizing that it didn't come from me. And that I didn't need to believe those things that were said or done to me. And then it was learning how to start to fill my own cup. What does that look like? What does it actually mean to love who I am?
I'm writing as you were doing this. Anybody's listening, they're like, did I just lose signal? All right, here's my steps. I got 6 here because I was writing them out into different pieces, but you had to take humility, a humble place / reality check. I can no longer accept the inauthenticity of my reality. I have to face what is real.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I put in this thing that I kind of like the way this is written. I wrote, I don't like me has to be transitioned into what do I like?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, instead of I don't like me, what do I like?
Mm-hmm.
I had comparison versus completion. Like, what am I comparing myself to? Am I really full? Am I really complete as me?
Mm.
And then challenging that part of it. This is why I like that. I put section 4, which was your step 2, was challenge. Why? Challenge why you don't love / like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You said I had to raise my awareness of where did the ideas come from. And then you have to agree or disagree if they are true or not.
Mm-hmm.
This is being able to challenge, like, who put that there? And am I going to agree or disagree to keep it there?
Yep.
And then you had to get into what actually fulfills me then. If I can remove the noise of other people's comparisons and judgments and validation and acceptance, if I can remove all of this to go, what is my real stuff? What fulfills me? And what is that? Like, what is it that fulfills me?
Yeah.
And then you're on your way to start going, you know what? I don't need other people's opinions to find fulfillment.
No.
So how does it feel once you shed so many of the belief systems that were designed to hold you down with validation, comparison, and acceptance?
It brings a state that I know from many's perspective is unrealistic. It brings a lot of peace. It brings a lot of neutrality is the word that's coming in, of I'm not jerked around by my environment anymore or by people. People can look, I know people still have opinions about me. They either don't get delivered to me anymore, and I don't actually attract that energy anymore, or if they do, I can simply go, you know what, that's I don't need to accept their opinion. That's a person's opinion of I'm to this, or she should this, or I don't like that she blah. That's fine. I can accept that without wavering of, well, should I be more like this? Well, should I be more aggressive? Well, should I be this? Should I change this? And so that's where the neutrality came up, and just peace, is because the external doesn't jerk me around like it used to.
I think it's an interesting system automatically, and this is a social creature thing, so I don't think it's that crazy. But I understand why we do this as humans. But it's pretty eye opening, because you said one of the things is like you have peace. I put non-polarization, more neutral. Like I don't get pulled either direction anymore. I stay authentic with myself, so I don't go into like you told me what I should think, and now I do. But then also the blocking of judgments and the need to change for them.
Yeah.
What an interesting thing this comparison and judgment thing does. I need to change for them. Now, this isn't necessarily just a woman thing. I think this is a human thing.
I do too.
Yeah, this isn't just ladies. This is everybody. Guys do that too. Except the difference is who we change for. And the difference, I'd say, would be that women are changing to be impressed by other women and outside sources. You got this outside validation, this outside world that needs to give you attention or approval. Guys completely change themselves for one person. Who do you think that is?
Women.
It's their lady.
I think women are doing it for both, for men and women. For sure, I can totally attest. Some of the things that I did were definitely 100% to get approved from women.
Right.
But I also sought to be desirable from men.
Which men?
Men.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board. I wanted people to look at me. I wanted to know that I was good enough.
This is the dangerous part about the females part. For when I say the three parts that women need, the approval and acceptance part of it is dangerous, because when it's I want approval from men, the blanket of men, it's very rarely my man. It's men. In which case, once they get chosen or picked by a man, they may do it for a little bit, but then that's that need for attention, that addiction to be seen and approved and validated. If it doesn't alter, that one man is not enough. Remember, unhealthy mind. Go to unhealthy mind.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of my unhealthy mind. I really cared what my man thought, and I put this out. This is stupid. I was one of those girls that would get up early before he would wake up and put on makeup and go and like slip back into bed, like literal like bridesmaid style, like. But yet I also it still mattered that other men would look too. It was both for me.
This is
That's my unhealthy mind.
This is the commitment levels change that a lot, though. And when, this goes to the Beauty and the Beast thing, when they do have an apex man and they have the comfort and security of my man is committed to me, a lot of times I'd say complacency is a killer to this addiction. This makes it really difficult. And you'll see people go one way or the other. Fuck it completely and let themselves completely go. Or even more scary, and this is probably where I've seen, and again, I'm not saying just women, I've just seen women do it more, but not to say that both don't. Guys generally are more reactive, women are more proactive when it comes to this. So what I mean by that is I'll watch, this relationship isn't going well, and I have seen women straight up message me, my relationship or my marriage is failing, so I need to start working out and getting my shit back together again. I said, well, what are you doing that for? Well, if I'm about to be back on the market, I better put myself back together. And so they start getting proactive. I've seen guys after they're like, well, turns out the reason she was working out wasn't for me. So I'm fucked. I didn't know she was leaving. And she left, took everything. I guess I better get my shit together, because now I didn't expect to be back on the market, but now I am. So anybody want to work out? I have more guys that are reactively getting into shape, and they're getting into great shape. I got more reactive guys. They're like, well, turns out my relationship died. So part of my put myself back together story is take care of me again. But my ladies, and this is the part that was I was like, come on, like take the effort you're putting into to plan yourself to leave into fixing the problem, and you'll be able to, if you're taking all the effort you're planning on putting into somebody new into this, you'll probably fix it. There's something about that attention though. Something about this validation, something about being approved of, and they want to be approved of by an apex or approved of by an alpha. I want to be approved of. But then after that, like, now I got it, that itch is still there. If they don't do any self-work, self-love, self-acceptance, self-appreciation, if they don't start going through these steps of humbly facing reality, comparison versus the completion or even the attention, what don't you like about you that you need validation for versus enjoying and liking yourself? Challenge all of these opinions. Like, if you don't go through these stages, it's very easy that you're not growing, and you may have caught the attention of somebody you like. But now what? There's no new quickening. It gets boring.
That's why I stayed in my career for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I went the other way. I chose a whole career that could feed that attention.
Got to get that feeling, that fix. This is why
That's fucking humbling to say that out loud. I literally busted my ass for 15 years in an industry professionally that I realized in 2020 I didn't even like.
That's tough. That's tough. Damn. It's hardcore, girl. That's a dragon.
Fucked up.
That's a dragon to slay. That's a big deal, though.
Yeah.
That curse is so deep. Your entire life was revolved around getting the attention from people. People that are not there for you.
Yeah. Since I was like 7.
Yeah. A lot of curses put on you. There's a lot of curses that have to break. I give you a lot of courage and honor, commendment, because like that's a lot to face that one. And you face that one. You had some pieces, but you face this one all on your own. You had to go through all these different things to try to figure you out. Yeah. That's a longer journey.
Yeah. And I was already on this fucking journey. Like I had already been like 3 years into like diving my shit out. And that when I hit that was like 2 miles under. And when I hit that, I was like, my whole world just like, that was really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's like my whole, I like had no life outside of that industry and whoever I was dating and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. This leads me to the three things that the ladies' needs are not as glamorous. For men, it was hungry, horny, appreciation. Real easy, right? For ladies, it was reassurance, acceptance, hypergamy. Not as romantic, not as cool, not as marketable, but this gets into that acceptance and hypergamy section, but mostly the acceptance part. I want to be accepted mostly by other people or other women. This is not usually spouse related. They still want that. It's still there. It's just not the main driving force.
No.
Yeah. I found that too. And I thought that was an interesting part for, like you said, this was an entire identity.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Denial is by far one of the nastiest curses.
Mm-hmm.
It is the one that'll leave you trapped for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And you'll think you're doing great.
Well, actually, now let me just add this too. I never listened to my intuition. Mm-hmm. And so many times throughout that, even before I was a professional, when I was in New York and training and all that, I felt miserable. I felt terrible about myself. I felt exhausted physically and emotionally. And I didn't listen to any of that because I just kept telling myself, like, you have this dream. It's tough. This industry's tough and not many people make it and you're making it. So you just got to fucking bust through, like, suck it up. It's tough. And people are brutal in that industry and you have to have a thick skin. You will not make it. And so I just kept saying that, but I have this dream. You just got to toughen up. have this dream when it was just that sole thing was tied to my entire identity, that I truly believed that without it, I didn't exist. And that was the thing that kept me tethered for that many years. If I didn't have such a strong grip in that was my identity, and I really believed that, I would have even told you in 2019 that this was my identity. And that's what kept me in like a perpetual misery that I was in complete denial to get out of.
I think that's an interesting thing to say.
Mm.
The way I took that is without validation, I don't exist.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yes, because I had a cool life. I got to go all over the world. I got to have like cool, like not what people have for a life. And that's what I thrived on. And the thought of having a normal life was like, just, I'm done. Like, let me be done with this experience. And so that's totally what it was. I needed the thrill and the attention and the excitement of it all.
And then you could share all your awesomeness for the other people to go, wow, she's awesome.
Yes, because they would. When I would tell people, I hate when people bring up my stuff in the past, and I would say what I did, and they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And that's how they react to you. And this is how they talk to you. Oh my God. Well, that's pretty fucking addicting.
That's a lot of octaves up.
Yep.
They get really high pitched when they're excited, huh?
Yep.
That's tough too, because it feels like, wow, I must be really awesome then.
Uh-huh.
Because you've made sure by your reactions, and these are authentic reactions, like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you without that?
And that was the humbling thing, because I literally said nothing, like nothing without this stuff.
This is a dragon. That's a dragon, Christy. This ruins your entire life.
Yeah. Oh, my whole life's different.
This is a tough one.
Including me.
Yeah. When just for terminology's sake, when like we're talking about this stuff, like the curses are going to be the things that someone put in you that we fed. Demons or monsters are the things that are still there doing it. Dragons are the things that destroy everything. They burn the whole village down. And so when people have to face a dragon, this is the thing that destroys my physical, my mental, my spiritual, my emotional. Everything is under attack by this thing, and it wins often. They are powerful. And it's really difficult to fight a dragon alone. They're strong. And they team up. They use multiple, very clever, very intelligent attacks. They're not stupid creatures. And so these ones, a lot of times it's a team sport, and they'll team up. Insecurities, doubts, excuses, denial, justifications, depression, anger, sadness. You're going to have fears, anxieties. You're going to have all these things that team up all at once and destroy everything in one ultra attack over and over and over. So much so you feel completely powerless. Killing a dragon. And there's people in here. We've killed dragons. I've killed dragons. And I've seen guys in here fighting dragons and guys who have killed dragons. And Christy, it's good to see you slay a dragon. Do dragons completely go away, or do they just lay dormant and they try and come back? Anybody here have a dragon that they've slayed that tries to rear its ugly head? I have. Sometimes it's people. Yeah. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's going to be somebody who is close to you that you feel like you've got that under control, and then they try and remind you of something that was like, that's your soft spot, and I'm going to bring that up. You know, and they'll say it with love. How's that one? Hey, Christy, you still doing the Disney thing? Oh, no, I stopped doing that. And you go, oh, so what do you do these days? Nothing? Because I haven't seen anything from you that's exciting since then. What do you do now? You just sit around or what? You're like, no, I'm actually doing a lot of stuff. You're like, I haven't seen anything as impressive as that.
I actually don't even have people that used to talk to me about that. in my world anymore.
Not anymore. What's tough is I have people like that who would be family members. What do you do when this is Thanksgiving? What do you do when people try and burn your village down because you were born from the same person or the person you were born from? Sometimes our dragons are our parents. Sometimes there are people who are important to us, or sometimes they are family members. And you still see them once in a while, and they'll try and bring up your stuff just to see if it's still beatable. Can I still knock you down? I'm not doing well. Let me knock you down. They'll still attack. I don't think that the attacks ever really go away. I just get way better at beating them. Yeah. Christy, you can just unmute. I know we're used to the
Dress asked, how many women do you think have that validation that I don't exist piece? I'm not sure. All I can say is in the entertainment industry, that's pretty prevalent. That's pretty prevalent. That's not a woman thing. Men and women in the entertainment industry, that's like the fuel of their existence is the attention.
Yeah, this is not, I don't think this one's mutually female exclusive. I just think it's more built in.
Yeah.
But I think that it's easy, especially, again, we got back to the change in the boxes and you fit into where women are pushing more into, and I'm not going into masculine, feminine, but they're trying to push more into being more of that masculine, even to the physical point of view. And guys are going more towards leaning into the women's or emotional point of views. And it's becoming more acceptable for them to kind of go the opposite directions. I don't understand the opposite part to it. I completely understand, and I feel like I even support like women getting stronger. I fully support that part. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we should both be hitting the gym. I'm not upset at that at all. And if my girl can outlift me in something, motivation. Like, sounds good to me. I got no issue with that. I think the guys should also be trying to get just as strong as this girl. Like, they guys should, that's a power team. No problem with that. But if one person is trying to deliberately make themselves weaker, I don't understand that part. And that's on both sides. I don't really understand why somebody would deliberately make themselves less. That's confusing to me. And I don't understand that part of the behavior, especially when guys are leaning more towards being smaller. Like rail small, like trying to be like size 0. And I don't understand. I've seen a lot more of that happening. I'm not saying like it's everywhere, but I'm just seeing there's more of a trend, especially if you look at teenagers. You see a trend, especially in the high schools and stuff, that's going more where the guys are being more feminine.
Because survival is not like needed. You don't need to be strong to survive anymore. You can just be, because we're not foraging and we're not hunting. We can fucking go to the grocery store, pick up whatever the fuck we want anytime we want. Mm-hmm. And there's no more fuck around and find outs. So you don't have to be worried about getting punched in the mouth anymore. So what?
Well,
you don't have to be.
Who can punch and get in less trouble though?
Well, women.
Okay, so ladies can now punch and they get in way less trouble than if a dude punches a girl.
Well, I'm talking about men versus men, even like both. Like I go punch somebody in the face and I'm fucked. Like, like I'm in jail. I'm getting sued.
Yeah, but if you punch another dude, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. You punch a woman in the face though, and you're a monster. But what if a woman punches a man? What is her punishment?
If I tried to punch my man would flatten me out.
Yeah, but then he's in trouble. But he's in trouble though. And they wouldn't even charge you for punching him first.
Right.
Again, like
I would just have domestic ramifications if I ever thought I was going to do something like that.
Well, statistically speaking, number-wise, women hit guys like almost 10 times more than men hit women. Like, statistically speaking, women hit way more than men. But when men hit, it really counts. And that's the difference. It's not for lack. And we've seen people in the group where the woman would be far more the aggressor. And the guy, if he did anything on the same lines, would be in jail. But she is not in jail. Now, it only makes sense, well, if you can hit and the other person can't hit, maybe I should get stronger since I can hit and there's no consequences. It makes perfect sense in multiple categories why being stronger as a woman, muscularly. Like, I see girls like with bigger arms than me. Like, that's becoming like a new thing. That's a new trend. Sick abs, big arms, tough back, thick legs, big butts. Muscles is in for girls. The CrossFit thing pushed it that direction, but it's become far more normalized. Again, not against it. But if you have special privileges that you can get away with stuff and make yourself 3 times, 4 times, 10 times stronger, it only makes sense. Who becomes the dominant then? If guys make themselves weaker and girls make themselves stronger, then what happens? I guess I really just don't understand the part where both wouldn't become stronger. I got nothing against women getting tougher. But why would guys have to get weaker? I think Forge, you had a good part of that where you're like, there's nothing, there's no danger. What are you trying to train for?
I think that's part of it. I also think it's role models. Like look at a lot of the role models now for younger people. We're looking at YouTube stars. We're looking at people who are TikTok stars. For the more intellectual side, you've got like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Douglas Murray. Now, all of these people, very skinny. Now, you've got this whole new generation coming up. And what are they watching? They're watching Fortnite people, they're watching Minecraft players. And instead of watching movie stars, they're going, I want to be that guy. That's what I want. I want to be the YouTube star. Now, all of these YouTube stars are incredibly fucking skinny for the most part. So the people that you're looking up to, it's suddenly okay to be that thing, rather than looking at, rather than looking at Arnie, rather than looking at like Brad Pitt, George Clooney. See, there's that shift in society where the role models are changing for the younger generation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, look at masculinity in and of itself. That has been frowned upon for quite a few years now. So, I mean, what is masculine? Masculine is, big, strong. That's how it's seen as, somebody that can hold their own. They're big and, muscular. Well, if that is being told to everybody that is bad, well, then people are going to try to look the opposite of that and be, again, more feminine, skinny legs. Like I saw a dude walking down the road the other day, and I swear I could have spit on his leg and broke it. That's how skinny it was. I'm like, hey, you got to eat, bro. Like, can I take you to McDonald's and buy you a fucking Happy Meal? Like, what is going on? Like, it's unreal. And it was like my wrist was bigger than his thigh. I'm like, I don't understand that part. Like, how does it even happen? But I think that's where it comes from, is the masculinity has been demonized. So therefore, don't look the part and you'll win.
I saw a thing on that, and this is the this is a curse. This goes back to that women's thing and control. It gets back into that part. But when women feel like they are hurt by men and that men are bad, who do they take it out on? Their sons. Their sons have to pay the price because they make being a man bad to their sons. If you're a man, you're bad because men are bad. And if you do man stuff, you're bad. So don't do man things because men are bad. Don't be bad. Where's dad? He's gone because he's bad. I have an order of protection against him so he can't see you. Men are bad. Well, what do men do? They're big, they're strong, they're loud. Scary. And if you're any of those, then you're bad. The problem is like guys like that are starting to struggle really hard because they try to make sure that they can fulfill the wishes of what the belief systems their mom has put into them, but that leaves them in a really difficult position. They're not desirable. They won't be chosen. Their identity is flip-flopped and upside down. It's inauthentic. It doesn't do any of the steps that Christy talked about. None of those are there. It's all denial. I'm trying to live my life based on the curses my mother has put inside of me that men are bad. And if I'm a man, I'm bad. So I need to be not a man. And then who loves them? You're going to have to go into the oddball niche groups, the outliners, just to fit in, because now that's who you are. Not to say there's not a place, but it's definitely not going to be approved of. And now you're an entire system of I wanted to make my mom happy, but now I'm not. That curse carries on. That's how that happens. I see that happening commonly right now. Our generation is destroying young men. And like, not to say that girls are not effective. Where's the attention and approval thing? Like, listen, start going into like I'd be hard pressed. You could probably go into most women or girls that you would see who are like their Instagram is look how sexy and hot I am that don't have a link tree. That's where you can find the risky site they're on. I don't go as far into that, but I'd be hard pressed. Like, you find an OnlyFans account somewhere for them. They're doing pretty well. What happened to women? Where's respect yourself? That's gone. I don't need to. I get all the attention that I want and all the money I want. And I can do it from the privacy of my own home, so I'm safe. Those pictures come back, those curses will come back to haunt, because as soon as they're done doing that game and they have a kid or they're with somebody, and you can have their kid in 8th grade have somebody look up pictures of mom masturbating, online. Like, hey, I found some videos of your mom, dude. Ha ha. Can you imagine being in 8th grade having to deal with that game? Oh my God. All my friends are masturbating to my mom's old videos. Jesus. What kind of stress and pressure does that put on a kid? No cost. These things are going to come back and bite this generation right in the ass. It's going to do so. There's so many like, is a outdated term, but there's so many layaways right now. They're going to get cashed out. There's so much bills that when those come due, it may not affect you. You might not give a fuck or be completely detached from any connection to anything, but the people you love are going to have to pay this price for you. They're going to be paying the debt from their parents. All for what? Attention, validation, approval. Fascinating. Money, power, fame, status. Give it to me. What do you do? What do you do with all of this? I really appreciate you doing the steps for that, Christy. How to get out of this mess.
Yeah.
It's pretty hardcore, guys. That's some pretty hardcore stuff right there. We're just watching the patterns, and it's going to hurt some people. I really do think kids are paying the heaviest price tag on this one. Women are going to lose. Don't get me wrong. It's going to get real bad, but this generation of guys is going to get fucked over. Next one, like, women are going to get eaten on this, and the kids pay the heaviest tab. Kids got to pick up the tabs for the parents. It's going to suck too. They're going to have to go through such a heavy level of race to acceptance to be able to go like, this is the stuff my parents have put out there, and I have to deal with it. Who knows though? It may just be like everybody's mom did that shit, so who cares?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what if it becomes normalized?
Yeah, then you're going to be like, oh, your mom? Check out my mom.
My mom's
I
better than you.
My mom had way more fans than you.
It's really funny because what I see on my Facebook is the majority of people who are having kids now are the ones who are also advertising their OnlyFans on their personal pages.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is
I'd say
normalized.
But then you think
I don't
those
know
are
if
the
it's gonna
people
go that
reproducing.
direction.
Way more than there should be, man. Way more than
way
there
more.
should be.
But I mean, the bully system is never going to go away. It never will. It never has. It never will. There'll be somewhere somehow of like some kind of bullying of, well, your mom only did it this way or whatever. Even if let's just say it became normalized. Well, there's something gonna come from it. Some bullying, like, well, your mom didn't have as bigger boobs as my mom, so ha ha ha. Like, they're still gonna pay a price no matter what.
And the funny thing is, though, Ryan, where does bullying come from? If you're a kid and you go to bully another kid, why are you doing that?
Because you're hurt.
Because you're hurt. So if we can stop the curses before they make it down to the kids, that's actually going to help with bullying for a large part.
Oh, I totally agree. But I mean, that'd be great if we could reach every single house in this entire world, but it's impossible, and that's the part that sucks, especially in our profession, where we want to fucking help everybody, but we can't. We can only lead, we can lead them to water, but we can't make them drink. We can put it out there. If they show up, we can help them. Even the ones that show up, sometimes they don't drink. Sometimes they fucking head to another watering hole. We have no control over that. But I mean, the best thing is that we can help as many as we can that are willing. And yes, we can do the work of changing that curse. That's why I joined. That is why I joined. So I didn't have my little guy doing the same thing that I was doing. Um,
One at a time,
But-
man. And what
Yeah.
I've been seeing is that more and more people are taking on the purpose that each of us are taking on. There's actually more people coming through that are being like, let's fucking remove trauma, let's get to net zero, let's kick this shit in the ass, than I saw 3 years ago. And they're popping up everywhere if you pay attention. So many people with the purpose that's like, we're going to help as many people as we can so that we can remove the pieces of society that are fucking everyone over than ever before.
Mhm.
And it seems like maybe it's the echo chamber that I'm in, maybe it's the algorithm that feeds me, but I'm seeing more and more pop up every single day trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I just
So
talked
I
to a
think-
guy who just started his coaching trying to help men through divorces just like 2 months ago. I just talked to him yesterday.
Mhm.
You know, he's like, we got to help the guys out here. They're getting just bombed on. You know, we've got women that are helping more women, more people trying to get out. But I think that you're not wrong. But again, like overall, for this to have any type of impact, who is it really going to be for? Almost all of them have kids. We got 3 girls, man. With the way society is right now, what are the odds that they're going to end up with some sort of like I pay my rent through OnlyFans? It's becoming so normalized that we're like, can we just keep our daughters in a realm of respect to yourself, please? You know, and how many parents have to in this day and age go like, I have to accept that my daughter shows her like she gets naked in front of everybody and just does all kinds of acts, even with boyfriends or whatever, so she can pay some bills. That's what my daughter does. Like, that's reality. For
I think
people,
it'll go
man.
the same way. I think it'll go the same way as the entertainment industry. Because, like, real talk, if shitloads of people are doing it, how many people are going to be paying? There's going to be more people doing it than more people paying. And at some point, they're just going to destroy their respect and they're going to destroy and send their body out there for everyone to see
Mhm.
for nothing. They're not going to get the subscribers, they're not going to get the money. And when that starts happening, it's going to start shrinking. There's going to be less people doing it because there's going to be more awareness for the fact that it's actually not worth it unless you can really build a following. But if you can build a following on fucking OnlyFans, why not build a following on Instagram? Why not build a following on TikTok? Keep
Why-
the fucking respect.
Well, why need a following? Why need a following? Why do we have to have people who validate us? People who follow us? Why do we need to get more attention? Why do I need more likes? I have actually watched people like post something and then watch for likes. Our daughters were falling
Really
for
good
that
too.
for a little bit. We had to take their social media away because the little one would post it and go like, I got 19 likes. I hope I get more likes. I wonder why only 19 liked it though. Maybe I
That's where
can
they're
do
told
another
that
picture.
self-worth comes from.
Yeah, I got to get
Oh,
more
man.
likes. I've got 400 likes now. I need to get more likes. We had to take social media away. We're like, oh, you're doing this for the wrong reasons. If you're trying to get other people to like you, and that means that you have value, this external validation will destroy your entire thing. Like Christy said, it's 15 years in an industry where I kept trying to get likes, and I would change myself to get as many likes as I could get.
Take away the fucking like button. I'm just gonna call it a day. But I mean, they'll come up with something else with a fucking smile emoji or fucking who knows what. But
You can't take
I
away.
mean,
You
I
can't
get it.
take away the people's ability to react to how great they love something.
Mm,
There's also a dopamine rush of hitting a little heart on something too. I want to give you. I like you. I like that heart. There's also a little happy feeling like I'm supporting somebody. You guys never felt that? If you hit like I like that video, you never felt like, hey, I'll send my support. Even more funny is how much we think it's like my support's a big deal. One more heart. You guys see that stuff? We're in an interesting time. I think every generation always has an interesting time. There's never been a non-interesting time. It's just our interesting time is interesting to us, that's for sure. But there's never been a time where it's not like, wow, that's really fucking crazy. Seems like it's always been fucking crazy. It's just our turn for our crazy. This is our crazy for our generation. What are we gonna do? There are more and more people stepping up to try to protect our children. And I think this generation is literally showing what not to do. That's what this generation is doing. No different than our past generations did too. We just have a new level of what not to do.
The thing that I despise about what's going on, and I've been seeing it a lot more lately, is like I got nothing wrong with like bigger people, but they're like normalizing like unhealthy behaviors of like what's her name there? Lizzo. Like they're saying like that's like she's not like if you look at her, I'm sorry, but you can't say like she is a healthy human being. And that to me is like normalizing that. Like I don't understand like why they're throwing that at everybody. Like, I can see like pushing the gym, pushing the healthy eating, pushing the growing mentally, growing, you know, spiritually or intellectually, things like that. But I don't necessarily get the unhealthy push for it all. And
Wouldn't it
I've
be
been
just
seeing it everywhere.
wouldn't it be pushing towards profit because it's easier? And that's not moral, but like it's a lot easier for people to go in that life and then see someone who is accepted for that, which isn't a bad thing in acceptance, but it's like being twisted. Like that, I don't know. What do you
I'm all
think,
down
Josh?
for like push the acceptance part. Like, yes, absolutely accept everybody for who they are. That's totally fine. But I don't think you should normalize like,
Being obese? You'd say it. It's cool. I'll say it.
yeah, like
Not healthy.
being
It's too much
overweight
on
and
your
unhealthy
body.
and things like that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
necessarily
Wallet people.
and then
Yeah.
also it's like they're dressed they're not even dressing. They're like pretty close to like naked, these celebrities these days. Like look at Miley Cyrus, look at um what the hell's the other one that was wearing just even like Lizzo, she does it, and then it's like you're putting this out there to be like, okay, now you're teaching little kids to be like, oh, it's okay to dress extremely provocatively, or you know, and at the same time being unhealthy. I'm also I don't like that. I don't get it.
See,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I see just in the steps that Christy gave us, this is where it can like deviate. So with Lizzo, maybe she's gone through two of the steps. She's like, all right, well, I don't like me. What do I like? And then blah, 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 whatever it is. She's like, and then she never gets to the whole challenge why. She just goes, well, I don't like this and society needs to change. So, you know, if people don't like me for the way I am, then fuck them and I'm going to do blah and blah. Instead of actually going deeper and working out the reasons why and what caused it. I think this is what I see as a big problem with like work culture or acceptance culture, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I've had interactions, personal interactions with some work people, and overall, they are far more nasty than your average person. They are vapid little cunts. Like they will actually attack without even realizing that they are attacking you. And then when you say a joke, they'll be like, that's a hate crime. You can't say that about that person. Like, actually, no, there's a difference here. You're just too naive to actually see the difference between the conversation that's happening. Like, there's a girl in my office at the moment. We go outside to take calls and to smoke. And she's short, the lock is high. And we go, she's like, I don't like it when you guys like leave the door unlocked. I'm like, oh, there's someone out there. Like, well, I used to have this thing that I would lock the door with and it's gone. And I don't know what happened to it. So like, how about we get you a step stool and you can lock and unlock the door whenever you want? She's like, I find that offensive. I feel like you're making fun of me for being short. And we're like, what? We're just trying to give you a solution where you can do what you want to do. And she's like, yeah, well, I find that offensive. Why don't you guys just move the lockdown for me? Why don't you just change something so that I can feel okay rather than I'm just going to solve the problem?
It's changing something for one person out of 100 or 1,000 or the fucking world. Like literally 1% of the entire world population. We need to change for them instead of the masses. That again, same here, blows my mind. And that's exactly what's happening right now with, you know, name a community that is the, you know, minority. part of it, whether it's the trans, the I don't know, anything, you name it. It's like the masses have to come down to the smaller portion of what is needed, and that doesn't make sense to
Well,
me at all.
I think
doesn't.
the
It doesn't make
irony,
sense at all.
well, the irony to it that is funny is it's a control thing, it's a power thing, and it's ironic to say people who felt like they were, they didn't fit in, or this wasn't made for me, or this wasn't, where do I fit into this? Acceptance, the idea for acceptance, it goes back to like what we talked about, validation, acceptance. It goes back to accept me. We want to talk acceptance, inclusion, acceptance. It's ironic to say that you guys should all be working very hard to accept me. And if you don't, I will ridicule you. I will kick you out. I will cancel you. I will shut you down. I will tear you apart. I will judge you because you guys aren't being very accepting. That's not ironic to say I am going to do the one thing that I hate the most if you don't do what I want you to for acceptance. The irony is I will use my own hate that I hate on you unless you give me the acceptance that I want. I think that it's one of those things where we talked about equality. Is equality that, like, you know, you have a 7-foot person, a 5-foot person, and a 3-foot person, and each of them has to jump a 4-foot fence. Should the 7-foot person get on their knees and the 3-foot person get a step stool or get stairs so everybody is 5 feet? Or is it the same fence for everyone? Like, what's equal? Is equal that everybody has to be 5 foot? Or is equal it's the same fence for all of us? Equality is getting very interesting these days. It's very interesting. Equality means you have to do what I want or else you're a piece of shit and I'll let you know. Well, what do you want? I want to be included and appreciated and loved for who I am. And if you don't do it, I will fucking destroy you. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting approach for peace and acceptance and love and validation. What an interesting approach. If you don't love the way I say you should, and if you don't accept people the way I say you should, I will hate you and destroy you and make it my personal life's mission to cancel you and get you ruined. Well, I don't think hate is the road to peace, guys. I don't know if that's the way. You guys should get somebody in here and change the door for me instead of me figuring out a way to reach it. I don't need to get a step stool. You should lower the fence.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic, too, that it's a security system that you're talking about, a safety device. You guys should lower the fence so it's not such a big deal to me. Well, the fence is there to keep the dogs out. And if we lower the fence for you, well, then the dogs will just jump it. Defeats the purpose for the fence.
And they're going to go after the smallest prey in there, which is you.
Well, that's not fair.
Because you're small. Right? No?
That's not fair.
I don't know. Just spitballing.
Irony, guys, this is the part where the awareness and the reality and these things, a lot of people aren't even like, they don't challenge themselves. I really enjoyed the number 4 here, your section 2, Christy. Challenge why. Why don't you love or like yourself? And then what about that makes it so you have to tear other people down for it? We'll go into a whole other thing for the people whose validation that we try to get, like we tried to get their approval, because a lot of times that comes from such an unhealthy place. I think that's a story for another day. I think this is pretty good for self-awareness, self-love. Where does that end yourself? What fulfills me? What is it that fulfills myself? Without validation, I don't exist. That's a strong word. That's a strong sentence there. I got to give honor to you, Christy, on today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, good job, guys. And this is a pretty good one to be able to look into for a lot of people that we talk to. And, you know, thank you, Christy, for a lot of times the ladies' side is so misconstrued. Us guys don't understand that. Our system is hungry, horny appreciation. We don't need the acceptance piece for like the community as like women do. We still want to have our community, but we don't require as much acceptance and approval. You can see it even on the smaller scale, where if you see middle school girls right now are having more mental issues than ever when they get blocked or they get kicked out of a group, not invited to parties. It's a bigger deal now because it's wider.
I think that honestly gets translated into some erratic behavior and erratic emotions because it's coming from, depending on the woman, perhaps a career aspect, a relationship or man aspect, and then a family friends aspect. And it's all like all of those things matter to us. And so when all of those things get influenced, or we're influenced by all of those things, that's where like the yo-yo emotions come, and you get jerked around because you're allowing the external to jerk you around, basically, which translates, I don't want to speak for you guys, but perhaps translates to you guys as like, what the fuck is wrong with her? It's because we're letting all of these people dictate how we feel right
That's
now.
3 different categories of trying
Yeah.
to make the masks work.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
when we're like, I just love who you really are, why don't you just be that? And you can be that in all 3 categories. Oh, no, you can't. This group likes this group likes this, and this group likes this. I have to live 3 different categories: my public life, my private life, my secret life. Yeah. How are you supposed to make that work? How do you ever
Why
know?
you guys think we're fucking nuts? We are. We're getting jerked around all over the place. Well, allowing it.
Yeah, it's got to be
So
accepted.
tell me, Christy, do you think that this comes back to the way that women use shame to control other women? So, like, if you were to bridge one personality from friends to family or family to friends, and they don't like that thing, they're going to make you feel like you're a bad person because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or just not good enough. Yeah, maybe bad, maybe not good enough, maybe not smart enough, maybe not pretty enough.
Now, do you think that's intentional, or is that just your own system being triggered by the things they say?
I think for most, it's a trigger.
Trigger. Why? Why do you say that?
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to go back to my old operating system. Even though you're not being yourself, there's a part that you're like wanting to defend. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but you're wanting to justify and defend what false identities and costumes you've put on yourself.
All right, but you're in a group of friends and they're like, you know what, Christy, you look fucking amazing, but those shoes really don't work for you.
Old operating system would be like, fuck, oh my God, see, I knew I should have worn those other, I knew I should have worn those other heels. I wasn't sure if this went, and look, now they don't.
Yeah, so does that manifest as guilt or shame then? Are you like, fuck, I did a bad thing and I wore bad shoes? Or are you like, shit, I can't fucking do fashion?
Not necessarily either one. For me, it was like, I never felt like I was pretty. And so I looked at what's pretty. So like fashion models, or just fashion industry. They're pretty because they told me they are. So I think they're pretty. And so I'm just old me is just trying to fit in the pretty box. And so for somebody to go, oh man, don't you know that material doesn't go with that skirt material and whatever, it's like, fuck, man, I didn't do pretty. Ugh. Just wanted to do pretty.
So it's more that they're using their own personal judgments on you, and then that's triggering the system within yourself to not like yourself.
Right, because I didn't believe I was enough. So the first part, someone going, oh my God, you look so amazing, makes me go, cool, I'm enough. And then the next part of someone saying, oh man, those shoes don't work, goes, shit, you're still not enough.
All right, here's one for you. What if within the same day you had 2 different people tell you 2 different things? One would be like, I love those shoes on you. And the other one would be like, fuck their shit.
Old operating system would base it on my own standards of which one of those people was better.
Okay.
How do you know who's better?
This is so funny to talk about. I don't fucking know. It was my own gauge. I don't know what I came up with for a scale and standards. usually it was who I wanted to be the most like. That was kind of like how I would gauge that. It's so funny to talk about. It's stupid.
Isn't that wild?
It's
Isn't that wild? When you think about a friend group, right? And you've got 6 people, and then maybe there's one that is like, all right, objectively the prettiest, dresses the best. So maybe like 4 of them are like, I want to be like this person. But then you've got these other 2. One of them's like, oh, I want to be like Christy, and Christy wants to be like me. And then you're like just playing off each other. It's fucking bananas.
That's why
Even-
people look crazy.
No wonder women are so confused.
That's
Could you
what I
imagine?
know.
Even funnier is if like if guys, if we operate under the system and like Dress is like, man, I like how Rick does stuff. I'm trying to be more like Rick. And I'm like, I'm just such a huge fan of Dress. I'm trying to be more like Dress. And we're both trying so hard to be like the other person. I wonder if we find this middle ground. Finally, you both look almost identical, dude.
I think so. I think that'd happen. Oh wait, fuck, that does
Except-
happen with women.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh man, but your beard got better than my beard, so your Rick beard is better than my own Rick beard. So I got to get a better beard because yours is better. And then like I actually like your glasses more than mine, so I need new glasses. But you're like, I just got the glasses like your old ones because I like those. And I'm like, oh, I can still get the old ones though, and like maybe I can. Oh yeah, but you kind of rock it better than I do. So, damn it, now you're beating me at my own me. And
So
Wait,
now
but
you're
then I see an ad for beard oil that grows my beard more, and I'm like, fuck, I need that so that I can be more like you.
you're unearthing another system where it's hard to make decisions, because when you operate like that, it's very hard to be solid and just go, this is what I'm doing, or I like this, because you don't know, because you have these measuring systems that are whack.
Mm-hmm. And
It
then
can also
yeah,
be changed by
Yeah.
one situation, really, because if you have that super popular, everybody wants to be like that person, and they fuck up, like well, first of all, just think about all the stress that is on them for having to be that everywhere they go. Whoop, doot, I have to be the same, that what everybody thinks I am all day, every day. And then they fuck up by walking out of the bathroom with toilet paper on their foot. And then they're looked at as, it's in the movies. It's picture perfect in a lot of these movies with a fucking high school girl. She's super popular, and then she walks out of the bathroom with toilet paper hanging out her fucking pants. And then it's like, oh, look at her! Oh my god! And then the girl next to her is like, ew! And then she's like the most popular girl now because she said ew in a cool way.
well, like
It's fucking astronomical.
the pressure of being at the top by itself with that kind of standard, I'm sure it's also astronomical. She can't make a single mistake without being highly ridiculed, and everyone's trying to be like her. This judgment system is such bullshit.
Well, she can never be herself because she has to be something else. So she's never going to know who the true person is inside.
Well, this is again the biggest part of this curse is if it works. If whatever her popularity persona is, people love it. And they said, she's the best. I want to be like her. She's the greatest. Well, she's like, but it's not really who I am. And then she has to live up to this impossible standard that she created. That makes no mistakes. The amount of pressure there. Oh my gosh. Again, that's what we're trying to get. Let's see. The most attention I got was for dancing, and that's why I couldn't stop. Yeah. I really like that. Like, I want to be like them, though. You can't like what you like because what you like is what others like. And so what do they like?
I'm already confused. Here, I drew a little diagram.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's about as confusing as the system.
Well, no, it makes sense. You just have to number the circles.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4,
One
5,
goes to 5, but then 5s would go to 7 unless there's a 2, and that would go to 9. So then 9 would go over to 4, and then you're like, oh, yeah, right, of course, yeah. No, okay. It's kind of like my map. When you're like, so I think it's this to this. And I'm like, no, it's actually because of this, because their dysfunction on this, because of that diagnosis was wrong, and that's why they end up here. And you're like, so, but what? And so it's bargaining. This is tough stuff. This is good questions. Good questions, Dress. Good answers, Christy. This is a tough curse. I want to fit in. I saw a few of these. I was kind of writing down what I was hearing. You work so hard to be accepted. The shoes thing, you work so hard to be accepted. Being perfect in all these things, the outfit I wear, the makeup colors I chose, the hair that I did, the way that I look, the fitness that I do. I work so hard to fit that mold just to be exposed that it's not good enough because suede doesn't go with sequins. And you're like, what? But I have a sequins and suede dress skirt. Like, yeah, but they're not supposed to go like that. Is it me who's bad or the designer? I'm confused. If you don't believe that you are enough, disapproval confirms it. There's no resistance when somebody puts you down if you already were thinking it too. That's dangerous, guys. If somebody else goes like, hey, you're not good enough, and you're like, I was worried that I wasn't, I guess that confirms it. There's no resistance. There's no, hey, hold on. You're judging me for what? You go, I was already judging me, and if you saw it too, then it must be true. Fuck. There's that one. Who do I want to be like the most? That was a big one. You can't like you because what you like is what others like. So what do you like? What do they like? So I can be what they are. And if I'm them, what will happen? I'll be validated. I'll be loved. I'll be approved of. I'll be good enough. My poor girls, I just sit around with the med kit now these days. They think that I'm fucking crazy. I'm like, oh, my loves, watch out for this stuff. You don't understand how important it is to me to be popular at the school. And I go, well, you are right. I don't understand. You're right. But I do know where this goes. And this ends up hurting a lot. So I have the med kit ready when you're done. As soon as you realize that this explodes, I've got the Band-Aids and the gauze. I honor you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. I feel like this was a pretty cool conversation. You guys good?
Yeah, it was good. Thank you, Christy. Helped a lot. Trust you too. Love you guys.
Yeah, good old memory lane. It's also a testament to how much you've grown in your validation for how damn good you are at being able to coach this stuff too.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know a few things.
That was an inauthentic thanks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joss, I
Thanks for
caught
that.
it. Yeah, I did.
It's like me being a reformed, drug addict. Like, yeah, thanks guys. Really glad I could go through a drug addiction for you guys. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Proud of me too, I think. So yeah, this is the story we had to go through. So it is a testament when we can beat some of these dragons. Beating a dragon is no small thing. So good job, warriors. This was pretty cool. Hopefully helpful. This is a high-level conversation, so very cool. Lots of appreciation. So thank you guys for, any of you guys will be probably doing more of these. I'm going to post this up if that's cool with you guys. I'm going to post this up and let people listen to just how valuable this conversation was. And there's a lot of curses that were exposed in this, just as far as like, what is it when we're trying to be something that we're not? And maybe, just maybe, somebody will listen to this and go, holy shit. That's one of the things that I do to get approval. This is a system that's important for my validation. Maybe I should start working on me. And if they want, they can start working in the Warriors way. Give us a call or check us out. And you can start working with some of these people themselves.
I'll tell you one more superficial thing before we go. I don't have any makeup on. I have wet hair and a hat on. Old me that we were talking about, never would have fucking gotten. I either would have had my camera off the whole time, or I just wouldn't have gotten on without full whatever. So that in and of itself, as stupid as that might seem to the men, is like, that's night and day from that old version of not giving a fuck. Like, if I have makeup on, if this is good, well, and then is this going to get posted? Is this going to whatever? And this is what I look like. So shifts can be made if you want.
Well, lucky you, it's only audio. So fortunately, I don't think I'll be posting the video up, but if we do, I mean, yeah. It's
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck it. If it makes you feel any better, none of us wore makeup for this either.
I know. Well, thanks. That's what I was feeling that vibe today. So
we're
thanks,
good.
Ryan, for not putting on makeup today.
Dress did, but it just accepts.
Oh.
What's the word? It accentuates, or what is it?
I have natural blush every day, so fucking red. I don't know.
Well, actually, from a not superficial, well, I guess it's still superficial. From a different perspective, many women, if I am a coach and I am a professional and I am whatever, then this isn't professional. And this isn't how I should present myself, because I'm not going to have the respect or whatever. So that's a whole other curse when you get into like career stuff.
I think I fit in the same mold for that one. Like, if you look at that, they're like, I get in the room with guys who are PhDs, guys who have published multiple books, people who have done really big achievements in the industry. And they look at me and they go, okay, this guy, let's see what he's about. And this is one of the things, the testament to being able to be proficient versus having the paperwork is like, they'll see you and they'll go, you don't have the look. And I'll be like, I've seen her hit bullseyes. I've seen her and just Katniss Everdeen that shit. I'm like, she may not look the part, but that's a warrior. She's slain dragons that were there for decades. I've seen her kill some very powerful things. And if you think she has to be wearing some sort of suit or a eyeliner in order to do it, you got the wrong one.
Well, and that's why I really respect and appreciate this environment, because I've done that. I don't want to be in an environment that's only going to listen to me if I pass the judgments and the criteria that somebody thinks I should be in order to be someone to be listened to. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I want to dress up like that. Some days I don't. And those are the environments that I would like to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that gets into a different thing for curses on that one. We could do that on a different day. We can talk about the makeup curse. I thought that was fascinating when we broke down the makeup curse. I thought that was fascinating. Yep. It's a multi-level curse. It's multi-level. It's not just doubt, but it gets into excuses, fear, denial. It's a multi-level curse. And that's a tough one. So I think that's a good part. Testament to you to being able to break those curses and going, if I feel like it, I will. If I don't, I don't. And it's all the same to me. When I wear it, it's because I'm actually I like doing it for myself. Not because I now require validation or approval from others. Because I'll walk into the same room without makeup and be just fine.
Yep.
You got that authentic girl power like Lizzo. Right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Too far? Oh, yeah. Good.
I just did. I don't have anything to say on that one.
All right, guys. Thanks for spending Monday. Hopefully you guys got something valuable out of this. Christy, thank you for teaching today. That was pretty great. Yeah, and always, I honor you guys. We're going to get into some pretty cool stuff next week. But I think after this, I'm going to get together. We're declaring war on anxiety starting tomorrow. So we're going to make some stuff for you guys to reach out to people to get them into this next anxiety thing. We're going to be breaking people off of medication. And so I'm going to put some time into this and do a multiple live trainings to help people work through in real time, push through anxiety and understand and rewire belief systems to get them off of medication that's doing probably more harm than it is good. This is a coping mechanism that needs to go. Let's help them get rid of the reason they're afraid, so that way they can be authentic and proud. All right, guys. Have a good night, my warriors.
Oh, wait. One thing quickly. Rick, when you're free, I had a chat with Randy yesterday about some marketing stuff, just looking at some of the big names in the industry and seeing what they're doing, trying to sort of see what's your authentic style.
Jump on with us right now. You want to jump on with us?
Are you both going on right now?
Yeah, we're about to jump on right after this.
Yeah, okay, done.
All right, cool. Yeah, just jump in with us. All right, cool. All right, guys. Later, warriors.